This afternoon on the marketplace, economy could be recovering quickly from recession by the end of this year, according to projections from some economists. Also, Nigeria to reopen 4 land borders from the 31st of December, a good news for Ghanaian businesses and traders. Plus, the road safety sounds alarm of the secret conversion of right-hand cars to left-hand vehicles by some car dealers in the country. Meanwhile, the Association of Second-Hand Vehicles has been raising issues with this, of course, citing cost implications as one of the major effects. Hello once again, I'm Charles Ayaja. Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back with the details of these stories. Hello, welcome to the program. The economy could recover quickly from recession by the end of this year. This is based on the third quarter gross domestic estimates and projection by some economists. George Raffi has the rest of the story.
The Ghana Statistical Service is yet to declare the economy as being in a recession. However, several economic manuals and National Statistical Bureau's definition of a recession showed that Ghana, after 2 consecutive declines in economic growth, has indeed gotten into that state. Data released by the Ghana Statistical Service showed the GDP estimates for the second quarter declined by 3.2% and 1.1% for the third quarter of this year. But for some, looking at how the economy performed in the third quarter, it could be an indication that the worst is over and could be recording some marginal positive growth for the end of this year. That's a view supported by economist Professor Peter Korte.
Decline in growth has been marginal this time around, and hopefully in the last quarter of this year we are likely to see some positive growth rates, which will then dampen or moderate the negative growth rates we've recorded in the last 2 quarters of this year.
Being in a recession obviously means significant slowdown in growth, more businesses and industries shutting down, government revenue being impacted badly, and more job losses. Some businesses can also be impacted badly in terms of revenue decline and purchases. This is because earnings of some consumers have been affected badly or eroded as a result of development for that period. But some are of the view that we have already seen the worst of an economy being in a recession. Therefore, the end is in sight. This is based on election-related spending as well as the festive season in the last month of this year. This could impact on GDP calculation when you look at the income or the purchases approach. The Bank of Ghana in its recent data projected that we will end the year with an economic growth rate of 2.5%, even higher than what government has forecasted.
Now, this is the second consecutive time the agri sector has recorded a positive growth, despite a decline in the general economic outlook in the country. The sector for the third quarter, as the main driver for growth, sustained the Ghanaian economy with a rate of 8.3%, even though its contribution to the gross domestic product is smaller. Here's a report by Ebenezer Sabote.
Of agriculture, all the 2 other sectors of the economy recorded a decline in growth. The agriculture sector grew by 2.0% for the period as a result of some improvement in the growth rate of fishing, livestock, and the crop subsector. In industry, mining was the hardest hit, with the growth rate declining by negative 4.5%. The services sector also recorded a negative growth rate, despite a significant growth from the information and communication technology subsectors. Here is Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim.
Year-on-year change rate for crops was 9.0%. Livestock also saw a positive year-on-year change rate of 5.8%, but its share overall was negligible, specifically 8.4% as compared to the 78.1% for crop sector. The other sector that saw an increase was the fishing subsector, 20.4% on a year-on-year basis. Again, its share of the total GDP is negligible compared to the overall 78.1% that we see for crops. So fishing gives us a share of only 8.4% with a nominal GDP value of 1,658.5 million Ghana cedis. Within the industry sector, from a quarterly point of view, as indicated, mining and quarry quarrying subsector saw a year-on-year change of 16.9% with a higher share of 40.4%. And this is followed by the electricity subsector, which has a year-on-year change rate of 11.6%, but a relatively small share of 4.3%.
The government statistician, however, cautioned it is too early to project that the year will record a negative growth rate, since this is just the rate for the third quarter.
It is too early because one is not too sure the interventions that are being instituted, what we've received for the months of October and November, and how that is going to impact on the earlier 3 quarters that we have data on. But broadly, we would say that that would constitute only a quarter of the 4 quarters that one would want to analyze for the whole year.
Meanwhile, this growth rate is an improvement over the second quarter, when the COVID-19 affected most economic activities in the country.
Now, Nigeria will reopen its border crossing point from the 31st of December. This comes after more than a year since it closed its land borders to crack down on smuggling of goods. There is more in this report.
Government at a cabinet meeting approved the reopening of the 4 borders in the southwest, northwest, and south-south. Africa's populous nation closed its land borders last year to curb smuggling of goods, particularly rice and arms, which it said threatens efforts to boost local production and security. But skyrocketing prices of goods, pushing inflation up to a 30-month high, compelled the government to take a second look at the policy directive. Nigeria, which has the largest economy in Africa, has been going through turbulent times due to the significant impact of COVID-19. The closure of the Nigerian-Benin border saw Ghanaian exporters complaining bitterly over the impact on trading activities as well as their incomes. President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, told Joy Business the closure of the borders should be a lesson because of its negative effect on its economy.
Nigeria has just realized that it cannot live in isolation, and that the opening of their borders is only at the instance of their citizenry, who have come under a lot of pressure and suffering as a result of the closure. I've told you before that the goods that were locked up, even at Benin, most of these goods belong to Nigerians who have come to other West African countries to buy their goods.
Now, Ghanaian traders and businesses will heave a sigh of relief as they can travel to Nigeria to bring in goods into the country and vice versa.
You're still watching the marketplace. Now, many car dealers continue to import right-hand vehicles into the country in violation of the law banning it. That's the revelation from an Adum TV investigative piece. The right-hand vehicle imported range from small vehicles to cargo trucks, with many of them used for commercial purposes. Road safety experts are expressing worry about how the conversion to left-hand can affect vehicle efficiency, thereby contributing to road carnage. With this comes the concern of profits for second-hand car dealers, who make the case that a ban on right-hand cars will have serious implications for both car dealers and the economy at large. The General Secretary of the Second-Hand Car Dealers Association, Clifford Ansu, joins us via phone for a discussion on this developing story. Clifford, we're so grateful that you joined us. What does the law say on the importation of right-hand cars to Ghana?
Thank you very much, my brother, and a very good afternoon to all your listeners all over. Regarding the importation of right-hand vehicles into the country, it's an issue that is, I must say, a very delicate one. Why? Because it was not in our interest as car dealers to accept the situation as it is now, that government is going to ban the importation of right-hand vehicles. But we are not comfortable with it. But ban of importation of that particular vehicle, I mean the right-hand vehicle, started way back, 1960. During the time of them being put a temporary regime, there was a program, and if I aged. This means that we stopped driving the left-hand vehicles in this country. I'm not saying the right-hand vehicles into this country. So we adopted the left system. Fine. But this came about when President Kufuor won in 2000. There were buses, metro transit buses were imported in this country. The beginning, those ones from Italy and other places were all right-hand vehicles. And the idea at that time was that President Kufuor, in his own wisdom, and the government at that time, in their own wisdom, decided that they were bringing those vehicles to support the transportation system in Ghana and to ease the pressure on the Ghanaians, especially the commuters. But, when they started bringing them, individuals also followed that, if government is bringing, why don't they also strike and then bring the same thing? Because, during the time of J.J. Rawlings and his administration, these things were not, in the system.
Well, so Clifford, I understand.
Why don't you also continue?
Clifford, I understand the political precedents that you're trying to attach to your argument. But of course, it begs the question. We're talking of human lives here. We're talking of the safety of drivers. And we're also talking about roadworthiness. So, I mean, it's even also begs the question of how the DVLA comes in for the certification of most of these vehicles amidst issues of profits that you're raising.
But now, if government is saying that the right-hand vehicles are the causes of accidents, that is rather unfortunate. That is number one. Two, these vehicles do pass approved routes into the country. They don't pass through unapproved routes. So we see them, they pay their taxes and this is all right. But if we talk about the human rights or the human aspect of it, right, it means that we are trying to say that these particular vehicles are those vehicles that are the causes of accidents on our roads.
All right.
But if you take your time and then check,
Clifford, we're grateful.
Accidents in our roads.
Clifford, we're grateful. I must add that we shall be bringing on board the DVLA on this issue as we weigh in both sides, because you're stating that it's quite unfortunate that the position that government is holding, despite the argument of human lives at stake here. But we shall get in the DVLA to have their own take on this issue. You want to stay tuned for that one on the marketplace. But away from that, the year of return last year was marked with many exciting events that brought Africans from the diaspora to Ghana to explore the country's rich cultural heritage, socialize and have a great time. COVID-19 pandemic posed a threat to the event this year. However, this festive season is set to be even more exciting as the Ghana Tourism Authority has launched its itinerary for this year's Beyond the Return. Of course, we have been trying to get in touch with the CEO of the Tourism Authority. We shall try and get him as and when we do have them. But there is a twist to this. The twist is that the aviation sector in Ghana is bound to benefit from this particular move of Beyond the Return. And even though they had their own fair share of the impacts of COVID-19, we're here to analyze the prospects for the domestic airline sector moving forward to 2021. And helping us do that is Sean Mendes, the CEO of the Africa World Airlines. Sean, we're grateful that you joined us. First of all, you've been in this business for quite too long, and you do measure the prospects and progress of aviation wherever you are. We had a successful year of return. We're now aiming at Beyond the Return in 2021. How does the future look for the aviation sector in the domestic base of Ghana?
Thanks, Charles, for having me. I think, you were having an article a little earlier about how Ghana is seeing an economic rebound. And I think that is something that will hold true in the tourism sector as well. I think a lot of markets which traditionally have not provided tourists, which have mainly provided VFR, that's visiting friends and relatives, diaspora and traffic to Ghana, will start considering Africa and Ghana in particular for their summer holidays, primarily because the traditional vacation markets they've had, such as Europe and Asia, are still seeing border closures and heavy deaths and infections from COVID. African markets have COVID, which is a lot less endemic than in these markets, and the border borders in Africa are conditionally open. So I think there is a tremendous opportunity right now for Africa in general, but for places like Ghana, which have established programs like Year of Return, Beyond the Return, and so forth, to really take advantage of this this opportunity. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to leap ahead and establish Ghana and Africa as a top-tier tourism destination.
Interesting there, but Sean, what about the domestic airspace? Of course, they've had their fair share of COVID-19. When you were the CEO of Africa World Airlines, you were even pushing for some sort of a stimulus package. Let's talk about the growth in domestic air travel for 2021.
Well, I think Ghana has handled, aviation sector in Ghana has handled the COVID pandemic as good or better than anyone in the world. We've seen a steady rebound in traffic numbers since Ghana restarted aviation operations in May, and that steady growth has been seen month by month. You've seen airlines adding capacity, you've seen more people flying, you've seen less restrictions, you've seen an expansion of operating hours at the airports. But we've now reached the point where the domestic capacity in December 2020 is actually higher. It's projected at least to be higher for the full month than the domestic capacity was in December 2019. And December 2019 in itself was a record year was a record month for domestic air travel. So I definitely say that domestic travel in Ghana has fully recovered from COVID, and it's probably one of the few, if not the only country in the world to have done that. Part of this could potentially be due to election stimulation. We've seen a similar trend in 2008, in 2012, and 2016, where in an election year, the fourth quarter has seen a growth in domestic travel. Of those three previous growths, only 2013 saw that continue. So from 2012 to 13 saw the growth. 2009, unfortunately, saw the global economic crisis, which led to a contraction and which was not unseen in Ghana. And 2017, unfortunately, Starbo exited the Ghana market domestically. So there was a reduction in capacity. But in general, I think,
Tom, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but you could see on your screen this particular piece that the International Tourism Organization did just release. It talks to us about the January to October 2020 international tourist arrivals. And it's quite obvious that even despite the impacts of COVID-19, Africa indeed had a little bit of, gains from tourism, even though it plunged by about 69%.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think what you will also see, particularly next year, is the targeting of the intra-Africa market. Nigeria, for example, is a humongous market. It's the largest market in Africa, and it's right on Ghana's doorstep. It's a market, though, which Ghana has largely not tapped for the last many years. And it also has the potential for Ghana to draw in a number of tourists from there because of the travel restrictions from traveling to North America, from traveling to Europe, from traveling to Asia. The Nigerian middle class has a lot of disposable income. They will look for markets nearer to home, and Ghana is literally the back garden for them. The weaker Naira will get you more benefits in Ghana than it will get you in the US or in Dubai or elsewhere. So I definitely think that, if Ghana tourism is able to play their cards right, they can carry over some of the momentum from the Year of Return into the Beyond the Return into 2021, and hopefully on a permanent basis beyond that.
But how do they play their cards right, Sean?
I think the key thing is to market to the right areas. That means to develop the right infrastructure domestically to be able to support the tourists when they arrive in Ghana, as well as to be targeting the right agencies, tour operators in the origin. There are two sides to it. One side, of course, being the originating the travelers, but also being able to service the travelers when they get to the Ghana side. So I think, improving the infrastructure, improving the facilities, visa policy, make it a little easier, better ground transportation, better sanitary conditions in hotels and so forth, some sort of certifications for that, and then being able to tell to tell the tour operators, people who've traditionally sent tourists to Dubai or to Disney World or wherever else, that look, it's more difficult for you to get US visas, to travel internationally, to go through Europe and so forth. Ghana is right here. Ghana doesn't have visa restrictions. Ghana has infrastructure, which we have specifically tailored for you. And, you can come over here and make sure that your people understand that Ghanaian jollof is the best jollof out there.
No doubt. Sean, we're so grateful that you joined us. But, let's stay on the issue regarding hotels, because they've also have their own impact related to COVID-19. Sean, we're grateful that you joined us. But we shall also be bringing on board the president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association, Dr. Aka Nyamike, there to help us understand the impacts COVID-19 has had on their businesses. Doc, we're so grateful that you joined us. First of all, is the hotels industry really recovering from the pandemic?
So much for the opportunities. I must say, to some extent, the industry is recovering, albeit at quite a slow pace. And of course, we can also attribute that recovery to some of the activities going on in the country.
Sure.
We can talk about the campaign, election campaign. And we also realize that in the heat of the pandemic, a lot of people put their programs and activities on hold. So with the easing of the restrictions, some of these activities are being implemented now. So yes, there's been some improvement, but certainly not to the level that we had at the same time last year.
Great.
And the difference,
beyond the fact that you've really had your own impact, it's really dealt you a huge blow. I believe you're also preparing for the prospects that come with 2021. What are the exact measures of which you are making to reposition yourself beyond COVID-19, protocols to ensure that the hotels industry reaps the benefits of 2021?
Well, Charles, let me say that, you see, the bottom line of our business, the tourism and hospitality, has to do with the movement of people.
Okay.
The industry thrives on the movement of people. So long as that one is established and it's going on well, then the second aspect is what we as an industry will have to do. And basically that has to do with marketing, that has to do with partnership with other players in the industry. For instance, the tour operators, you may have observed that there are a lot of tour operators organizing domestic tourism activities.
Exactly.
And even some institutions and organizations. I don't know, Joy FM has done quite a number of those trips.
Yeah,
you see, so all these ones, together with aggressive marketing, I believe will help us. But we should also forget the economic environment that we'll be operating in.
Sure.
The economic environment is also very important. Talking about utilities, taxes, and all those things.
Okay.
So once we are in place, we are ready to do business. We are ready to host people once they come to our facilities.
Dr. Nyamike, we're so grateful that you joined us. He's the president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association. It has been an extensive discussion on Ghana's domestic tourism sector and the prospects for 2021. You're still watching The Marketplace. We'll be right back after this break. You're welcome back. MasterCard Foundation, in collaboration with the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, organized an orientation for skilled MasterCard persons. Now, this program was held as part of implementing Young Africa Works, which aims to train 39,000 people by 2021. Here's more.
Greater Accra Regional Coordinator for Young Africa Works, Jemima Arthur, told Joy Business that the program will equip skilled craft professionals to handle the apprenticeship to entrepreneurship initiative.
In this program, we have 3 components. We have the A to E, we have the IC, that's the ICE, and we have the MSME acceleration. With the A to E, we want to equip the young men and women with technical and vocational skill so that they can get the skills and establish themselves in the near future. With the ICE, that's the innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. With the youth who have brilliant ideas, business idea, but they don't know how to go about it. With this program, we equip them with the necessary skills in entrepreneurship and how to start a business, so we can transform them to a successful entrepreneur. And with the MSME business acceleration, with that one, we are targeting women-led businesses. So at the end of the day, we have 3 supports. One is access to market. The next one is product improvement and also quality. And the last one is access to finance. So their businesses can move from one stage to another. With this program that we are having, we are training skill crafts person. So they will handle the A to E program.
Speaking on the sideline, Coordinator for Apprenticeship to Entrepreneurship Project, Cynthia Deborah, said her outfit will support the trainers with the necessary kits. To help them in the process of equipping the youth with skills.
For this project, what we seek to do is, monetary-wise, we cannot give them anything money-wise. But what we are planning, or what we plan to do, is to give them other support services that they need. Those that are going to help their businesses. That is what we plan to do. Then you pay for the apprenticeship fee, though it is not going to be what they would have wished to charge, but it is something that we are all trying to do to help the youth. After today's orientation, the next thing to do is the matchmaking. That is where we will bring the apprentices and the skilled craft people that we have had a sensitization with. Then we will bring them together where the skilled crafts person stays and where the apprentices you think it is convenient for you, then we match them to those skilled crafts people. We do not want someone from Adenta to be training in Accra Central, because we are not going to pay for their TNT. They are going to bear that themselves. So if you take them far away, it will give them opportunity to stop the training along the line. We do not want that.
Meanwhile, CEO of Medi Vocational Institute, Mami Esidakwa Grant, added that the initiative was a good one, but if they are given people to train, MasterCard and NBSSI should support them.
From what they are saying, it's a good idea. My only challenge is that really, as they are saying, they should go by it, because if they are going to give us people to train, then the money that comes with it should also be made available. Because of a personal experience I had with an institution, it affected my business, so I don't want it to be a second time.
However, a digital security executive, Eric Amevo, said as an entrepreneur, one must have backup so they do not solely rely on government.
Well, and that'll be all for this edition of Marketplace. My name is Charles Aite. It's been a pleasure having you around, of course, coming over to your screens. Join us tomorrow for more stories, especially the successful COVID-19 stories. Have a good afternoon.